Here at R&A Scott, we hold the MAN Truck and Bus UK franchise for Gainsborough and the surrounding area. But we don't just service and repair trucks, we do cars as well. Our competitive car service and MOT packages start from as little as £99 and include parts, labour and VAT. But we're not just fanatical about vehicles, we are passionate about football too and are proud to sponsor Gainsborough Trinity.
Sandy Lane with Dom Roma after the 0-0 draw with Worksop Town. How do you reflect on that, Dom?
I was pleased with a lot of aspects of the game. You know, defensively they didn't cause any problems, kept ball really well. We look sharp going forward. It's just this final decision making in that attacking third that will come as pre-season progresses. So I was pleased with today. It was a good workout for lads. We look really fit. So yeah, I was pleased with today.
Some good little triangles in the final third, really. Players getting an understanding, working well, linking up.
Yeah. It's something that we want to work on. We've told the lads that when they get into the final third, wanting to be creative, but within a structure. And it's just fine-tuning things now. You know, asking lads to realise when they might need to be a bounce pass for someone and when they might need to run in behind for someone. But that'll come in games and that'll come in training. We've got a training session this Saturday morning that we're going to be working on a few things going forward. But all in all, I'm pleased with his attacking play. Obviously we haven't scored tonight, but we created, you know, quite a few opportunities and their keepers pulled off 4 or 5 good saves. So yeah, it's coming and you know, the aim is not to peak now. You know, I do keep saying this, it's not to peak now, it's to obviously peak when the season starts in August and taking it through there. That's when we want to be at our sharpest.
Yeah, and we sort of say it's good to create chances. If we weren't creating chances, we'd be more worried.
Yeah, me and Fozzie, you know, we have said to the lads that we want them to play within a structure, but like I've just said, when we get into that final third, you know, I want to be creative and it's sort of free play with just a few ideas that we're going to throw in there. But I'm pleased that we're creating chances. I'm also pleased that, you know, today we didn't really look like conceding. So yeah, I was pleased with today's game.
Okay, thanks Dom. So about the youngsters as well.
Yep.
We've been feeding a few youngsters through, giving them a few minutes game time.
Yep.
How important is it to build that sort of bond, the 18, the 21s, the first team?
Yeah, obviously it's good for any youth player or any club to have youth players coming through. It's, you know, what these lads have got to realise is that they've got to be patient, because the step up from 21s football, our 21s to Conference North is massive. Some of the lads will need to go out and get some games somewhere, and that's what we'll be looking to do with some of them, and obviously looking to build in their development that way. I've spoken to Pete about some lads that could be involved with us, and obviously as you've seen over the last few games, there's been a few being involved. But it's all about their development. It's not a now thing, if that makes sense. These lads aren't ready to play in our first team, but with the plans that we've got in place and getting them involved in training with us, travelling with first team, they can see how things are going to work. And like we said, if we feel that some of them need to go out and play men's football at a few leagues below, then that's what we'll do. If we feel that they need to carry on playing for the 21s, then that's what they're going to have to do. But it's all a progression. You can't. Last thing you want to do with a young player is chuck them in a deep end, and obviously them not do themselves justice and it have a knock-on effect of a few months, 6 to 8 months, where they're not really themselves. They've gone out and they're not performing at levels that they were at. So you've got to take into account mental state of young players as well. Last thing you want to do is obviously, you know, damage the psychological state, and it kills them for a season then. So there's all sorts of things that need to be considered, and that's what we'll be looking at.
Yeah. It really is a fine balancing act, isn't it? It's trying to say, do we involve them with the first 16, or do they get out and play the games? If they're coming along, getting on the bench but not playing, is that damaging their development as well?
You can look at it from two perspectives. One, they're being around first team and they know how we work, they know how we run things, and obviously that's only going to have a positive effect on them. But two, if they're not playing for us and they're not getting as much game time for 21s because they're travelling with us and training with us, then it's going to have an effect on the match fitness. So we need to obviously balance out when they need to go and get football and when they need to be involved with us. I've been involved in youth football before at Sheffield Wednesday, so I've kind of seen how they do things, and it's just a balancing act and making sure that you look after lads as well. Brilliant. Thank you.
Cheers, Dom.
Cheers, mate.